How you doing, everybody? Thanks for stopping by and joining us today for another edition of Rolling Over the Hill on the Live to Roll channel. Today's show is Whining. Yep, a good old-fashioned bitch session. So if you want to whine and get something off your chest, off your mind, uh, let us know in the comments, and we'll address them as we go along. Uh, just think of it as a good old therapy session. My name is Robert Soto. I'm a T12 spinal cord injury from a motorcycle racing accident back in 1974, 49 years post injury. Before we get started, I'm very happy to be joined today by my fellow whiner, Bobby. What's happening, brother?
That's awesome. Oh, I know. It was we're on the phone yesterday. Just what are we going to do our topic on? And man, you and I were whining, and I said, I think we got it right now. Uh, Welcome back, everyone. I see Kelly's in the house. How I roll. Welcome back from Alaska. I'm Bobby Rohan, C5, C6. I was hurt in 1989, and actually Monday will be my life birthday. So I got a life birthday coming up.
34 years, huh?
34. Yeah.
Crazy, crazy.
Yeah. Dominic, he just said, "Well, dude's whining. What the heck?" Yeah, I think, you know what, Dominic, we could be as cool as you when you go to Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, a concert, and, top it off with, the restaurant of the month in LA, probably, or something like that. But us old dudes, man, our bones are old and crinkly, and when the weather's just not at that nice 72 degrees, we like to start whining, and I think that's how we started it off. Yeah, it's here in Southern California, and and take it at a grain of salt. I mean, we're us Southern Californians, when it's not 72, we are bitching and moaning and whining about the
That's right.
weather. We have not seen, and come on, Dominic, uh, it's the weather hasn't been that great, and I know you had to be freezing your little toesies off when you've gone to Disneyland. So, uh, you know,
Well,
uh,
I'm not a rain guy. I'm not a snow guy. I'm a sun guy. I need that sun.
yeah, and I think that's what it is. We definitely, when we've lived here for so long and we get used to it, it definitely helps. And granted, trust me, we shouldn't be whining and bitching about how much rain we've gotten for our environment and for our drought that we see here. And hopefully, this will help our lakes and our rivers that it desperately need it. But yeah, I mean, I think I saw somewhere in an article that we're just about, right now, we have more rain than Seattle, Washington.
Yeah,
And
I heard
you know
that.
what they say in Seattle, Seattle, I think, has the highest suicide rate,
Yeah.
just because it's always cloudy and raining. And I don't know if that's it, and I saw that a long time ago, but I heard that a long time, a while ago. And that's how it feels. I mean, um, when the weather just isn't nice out there and it's gloomy, obviously we want to kind of bitch and moan.
Yeah, yeah, I know I do. Yeah, I never used to really whine much and all that, but as I get older, I'm just kind of becoming a whiny old man now, and I complain about things that have been wrong with me for a long time. But and we were talking in our pre-show here. I usually just whine to myself. When you're alone and all that, you're just kind of a little frustrated. You whine and all that, and you get it off your chest or whatever, and you're okay. You don't want to be negative or anything, but you got to bitch a little bit, but especially in our situation. And I'm sure no matter what situation you are, it's just that it gets frustrating. You've been doing it for so long. Like for me, I've been doing it for 49 years. And after a while, you just kind of, you throw your arms and you go, you know, what's going on here, man? Come on, you just got to give me a
Yeah,
break, something.
yeah,
And I'm not feeling
mm,
sorry for myself or anything like that. I'm just a little frustrated. So once I say that, then I'm okay. Go on with my business, and I'm fine. The rest of the day is good. It's just that, and you got to be careful too that you don't get yourself in a rut by whining, because you don't want
right.
that all of a sudden become, everybody goes, oh, there's that whining guy. You don't want to be that guy. No one wants to be around you, because it's a negative in a sense. But we're just doing it kind of tongue in cheek today. But just want to get things off our chest and provide an opportunity and a chance for you who are watching us, our family, to kind of speak out and let us know what kind of frustrating for you and wants you to get up and whine.
Yeah. You know, and I think you said it first, or you said it best, is kind of whining to ourselves, and we do that a lot. And one good example that I have is uh, dropping things, and for us quads, man, when you're dropping things left and right, I mean, some days I just say to my wife, or I'll be yelling out because you'll hear it, in the sense of, oh my, all right, come on, one more thing. I mean, I might as well just push everything that I reach for onto the ground. And it happens. It happens all the time that, I mean, I might as well, if I'm grabbing a pin, I should just push it off to the floor and pick it up from there, because I know once I start grabbing it, it's going to fall on the floor. Or I'm taking my medication and I'm going like this. And next thing I know, it's like, what the, I do
Yeah.
this 100 times a day. And nope, there'll be a day when it's all dropping and it's all right there. So, I mean, I have what's called the droppies days, and it's just like um, it just gets me, and I'm bitchy and whiny about it all the time. And my wife's like, "Oh God, get over it." Just and she, goes, why don't you ask for help? And it's like I don't need to always ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say that's one of my whiny modes, and can get to me. How about you?
Well, for me, it's just yeah, it's out of frustration sometimes, and I don't know. It just depends. I know in the morning sometimes when I wake up, I feel like I got that little cloud already. Where you just it's one of those days I'm not bright and chipper like I normally am because I'm a morning person, and when I wake up usually and I'm whistling and all that kind of stuff. When I'm not in that mood, it's like I'm just kind of takes a little while for me to warm up, but and it just just getting ready, dressed and stuff. I mean, I'm a parent. I still have a lot of my hand usage and stuff like that, but my shoulders and arms are just kind of the ones that are really being a problem now. Like reaching for something or something that should be easy, and I just kind of bitch at myself about it. And you get through it, and once you're done, you go, well, I mean, it's what it is, and it's been that way forever though. Like before at one time, when I was first injured, I was wearing leg braces because I was ambulatory. But it was back in the day where the brace was attached to the shoe, and it was that metal strap that goes into the heel and all that. So if you wanted to wear the braces, you had to find pants that would fit over everything because you had to put the braces on first or roll the pants all the way up. So I was bitching and moaning about doing this because it was always a hassle. So I tweaked my hip or something like that back in the day, and I had to stay off it for 6 months. And I always said, well, I'll never bitch about whining and bitching about the braces or whatever, trying to get dressed because you know what, you got to be careful what you ask for because I go, I'll never complain about it. So I never did, and so I find myself doing that on a lot of stuff. I go, well, I could still do this, I could still do that. Yeah, I'm whining about just how difficult it's getting now, but that's just life. Things as I get older, it's not because I don't want to do it or anything like it. It's just because it's either my strength is not there anymore, or I know for sure my patience isn't there anymore because that's kind of been just getting wore down as it goes along. But I mean, I still go through the whole process of making sure I stay positive. And sometimes you got to psych yourself up on it. But to me, if I bitch and moan, I'm alone or complain to a close friend or something like that, it's just to get it off my chest and not to have anybody feel sorry for myself. It's just a therapy, and
Yeah,
once you kind of say it even out loud when I'm alone, there's no one listening, I feel better about it. But it's the weather for me right now that's really affecting my moods. And I like to be outside, even if I don't really go anywhere. Don't have anything planned. I can go outside. I hang out using the backyard and just with the dog and just kind of piddle around the yard. You can't even do that when it's raining and it's so wet out there. And um, so that kind of right here, what we're talking about is a little bit of my whining. That's what it is. You know.
right. And how I roll, you said it best. I mean, the weather affects SCI so much for body pain, and I,
Oh yeah,
as well
I
as
agree.
for us with wet hand rims. And when you got those achy, creaky, you know, bones that are just after so long of sitting down and just it's hard to get up in the morning when it's cold and getting yourself motivated and yeah, you start whining about this and then that and then getting dressed and then it kind of even starts off your day kind of wrong and yeah, you get your shorts and your shirt on and you find out, you just, you're like, just why am I wearing a shirt that's not comfortable today? Damn it. And I just, I think it was the other day, my wife's like, how come you changed your sweatshirt? I'm like, I don't know. It was just wasn't comfortable. And she's like, oh, okay. I put the most, I have this one, it's just so raggedy and it just, I mean, it just falling apart, but I love wearing it. I mean, we all have that. And I mean, I have a nice new one and just didn't want to wear it. I mean, it wasn't right. It was a little more baggier than I wanted today because I just was in a bitchy mood and whining about another day. It's cold and it was raining. I think this was on Wednesday or Tuesday. It was downpouring for us, and I mean it was just downpouring. You're just God, you
Yeah.
can't stand it.
Yeah,
And
it is, and I guess, and it's because we're not used to, like you said at the beginning. We're not used to. I know some people out there in Canada where it gets really cold in Minnesota and just things like that. I couldn't deal with that because I know for a job thing, there was a chance that I was going to be transferred to Minnesota, and I was like freaking out because of the cold and all that. But yeah, no, for me, I think it's mostly the weather when I really get into my bitch and whining moods. And that's it. But you know what? On the serious side, for me, what kind of really has kind of been uh, playing a negative with me is my UTI. I've kind of been battling UTIs off and on this past year. I think it's just been one of those years, and especially the last few months, it's been getting a little bit more. Um, where I'm trying to do the best you can. You're trying to drink your water. I'm taking the things I'm supposed to, and all of a sudden, when I cath in the morning, it's nice and clear. Everything's good. Then towards the end of the night, I cath and it's all cloudy and turning in, on UTI. I go, what changed during the day, So that's what kind of gets frustrating for me, where I got to start whining and bitching about that because I am doing everything I can to, taking those pills and stuff with D-Manos and all that stuff. And so now it's kind of like going back and forth. It'll be cloudy one part of the day, and then later in the night it's clearing up and that. So finally getting with a urologist to just kind of make sure that everything is okay. But things like that you didn't have to really bitch and moan about. I'm doing it now because I never had it like this. I don't know if it's something that's just with the aging piece, or is it something actually wrong? Because I'm finding a lot of that aging and the disability path just crossing paths. And so you kind of always wonder, well, what is it? And so now I'm finding myself, where I had a primary doctor and that was it really. But now I'm finding myself where I need a specialist here, a specialist there for this and that, just because there's certain things are now acting up on me. And shoulder's okay. I've been dealing with that. That's kind of getting a little more frustrating. But it's just things like that are more serious for me, like the UTIs and making sure my skin is in good shape, my transfers and stuff like
right.
that.
Do
Yeah,
you,
I got a
I
few
don't know.
things.
Have you ever noticed maybe the UTIs come on more in the winter than it does on the summer?
You
Like
know,
I kind of feel like that for me. I always feel like obviously we all get sick a little bit more in the winter. You catch that cold or the flu. It always comes during that season. But I also kind of find that it comes with the colder months too that I get a UTI than the winter months. And not that, hey Shawn, not that I'm uh, drinking any more or less, because I know in the wintertime or lately I've been drinking a lot of hot tea. So I was wondering if maybe, do you find it that way at all?
well, I really haven't paid much attention. It's just for me, it's been this the last few months, and then for me, it's when I do take the Cipro happens to be the antibiotic that works for me. But with me already having tendon damage and all that stuff, they wreak havoc on my arms and elbows, and everything gets tender. And that's kind of one of the side effects, and it could be one of those long term things. But I don't want to take antibiotics anymore, and so I'm trying everything I can to just kind of drink the water and all that stuff, and like I said, I'm trying this new product that for to me new that it's a flush and then pills that kind of keep the lining of the bladder and all that clean. So that seems to be doing something. Um, but my the urine is just like I took a sample yesterday to the lab, so we'll find out what it says because it was really cloudy the day before, and so that night it started clearing up, and in the morning it wasn't so bad. But I don't know if it, what it is. If it's the pills I'm taking that are helping, or there's something else just kind of screwy going on with my bladder. You know,
Mhm.
and for me, I have, I'm dealing with a little bit with prostate stuff. So we're kind of keeping an eye on that. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. So, there's a bunch of stuff. So anyway, I'm getting a urologist, which is a big step for me because I really haven't had a urologist. I used to go to Rancho every once in a while with my insurance to treat it as in network. So I used to like
And
Rancho because they deal with the spinal cord piece.
and you're cathing, correct?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So
And I
you
know when I
cath.
have to go. I have sensation and all that. I know when I have to go. It's just that I wasn't emptying completely before, so that's why they started wanting me to
And
cath.
as getting older, obviously, we think of our prostate.
Yeah,
And I always thought, like, well, if I'm cathing or I got my suprapubic, do I really have to worry about the prostate? And so,
I
is
agree.
that a concern that you have to worry about it for urination needs? I mean, usually, I mean, I'm pretty sure an enlarged prostate,
Yeah.
affects more than just a slow stream. I mean, I have a good buddy, when we used to go to the movies and hear him, pee was the funniest thing. I couldn't stop laughing because it was like squirt, squirt, squirt. And he's like, shut up, man. I just couldn't stop laughing. And, it was like, damn prostate. And so, I don't know much about a prostate, so I'll be the first to say that. But I always just figured it affects your peeing. I mean, what else does it affect anything
Well,
else? And
I think for me, I'm just kind of finding out about it too because I taking a PSA test where they tap into all the things in the urine and all that. But um, it's it's sometimes I can tell when it's acting up because I am voiding more, I'm peeing more. And then there's some times where I'm not peeing as much as I should or whatever. So we're keeping an eye on it. So I think I get some more blood work and urine coming up in another month or two. And that'll be the final PSA count. And then we'll decide what we have to do because the PSA numbers either go up or I think normal is 4.0, but with me getting older, the numbers do go up. They do get elevated, but it's not crazy high, but it's still high. It's out of the benchmark for me. So
uh,
I'm hoping that everything is okay. Maybe I can fix it with some type of medication. But my thing is, what I want to find out when I get to a urologist, if there is anything that needs to be done, because I have sensation when I have to go and all that. So I just cath, or sometimes I used to be able to just void on my own and then cath at night and in the morning. So now I'm relying a little more on intermittent cathing. But so now I'm just wondering if they have to do anything with the prostate. Do I lose that? Am I constantly going to have to be worrying about, making sure, because my bladder holds a lot. I have a lot of volume in my bladder, which one of the urologists told me at Rancho that I was pretty lucky. He goes, a lot of people pay money to, extend the bladder. So mine has kind of just happened through all those years. Cause I only been cathing about 10 years. I just started cathing
mhm.
about 10 years ago. But, so anyway, I'm kind of, that's my main bitch right now, just the UTI, bladder, and just everything is usually was fine up until about 8 months ago, 9 months ago. All of a sudden, I started getting these. I mean, I'm talking UTIs. Like finished the antibiotics, then like within a week later, I'm starting another one again. And then it go 2 weeks, a month, and then I get another one. And so yeah, that's what's kind of frustrating. That's what I've been whining about mostly.
Kelly, geez, Kelly in our chat, he was wondering, what position do you cath in? Are you sitting down, laying
Yeah,
down?
I sit up. I sit up. I'm in my chair.
So it sounds like when he's cathing down, laying down, it kind of
Yeah.
helps a little bit.
Yeah, see, so, but I'm just wondering if anybody out there also, do they have the fluctuation where the urine, when they cath, it comes out as clear? Because I use the bag and everything goes into the bag, I forget what you call them. Anyway, it's the kit. Anyway, so it's in the bag and it's clear. Then, later that night, I do that in the morning. It's nice and everything goes on through the day, drinking water and all that stuff. You cath the last time of the night I cath, and it's clouding up already. So there's nothing that's changed for me in my routines. I'm drinking water, I'm cathing the same times and all that stuff, and it's all of a sudden cloudy. And then in the morning I'll start and it's either cloudy or it starts clearing up, and then the following night it's clearer. So I don't know, man. That's
And I know you're drinking less because you're not going to your Tuesdays with the boys, to your
yeah.
drinking.
Yeah, no, I'm drinking water. I'm talking about drinking water. Yeah, but yeah, it's kind of frustrating for me. And like I say, I think if anything bitching, and that's besides getting older, I'm bitching a lot about my bladder and UTI and stuff like that because I really don't want to hassle that. I just want to be left alone. Let me just let it just work fine. I mean, I don't mind cathing. I don't mind any of that. I just don't want to be taking antibiotics all the time because they're beating me up.
Yeah, I hear you. I got knock on wood. I had to do a urine sample the other day, and the place where I got it done, they called me and they said, "Oh, yeah, TI, I'm faxing it over to your doctor." And I didn't hear anything for a day, and then I called the doctor's off. Are we
I
in?
I lost you. You froze up on me. I don't know if it's me or
Yeah, I think so.
what.
I don't know. It could be on Shawn and our Live to Roll channel has been having a tough time on the
Yeah.
internet. So, or maybe it could have been
So
my internet. Who
I'm
knows?
I'm reading the comments about Luis talks about did you
Uh,
ever use Crede? I that was a Rancho Los Amigos thing, the Crede piece, where when I wasn't cathing, your bladder would get a little bit full, and you could feel it, and you would right below your belly and in your pelvic area, you would use your fingertips and Crede, kind of pressing on your bladder, and that would uh, relax the bladder muscles and all that, and you'd be able to kick off and stuff like that. That's funny because I don't know if
mhm.
they even still do that or encourage that anymore. But uh, Luis has been
Well,
around a
I
long time.
it's yeah, it's that today is if your urethra has I guess a turn in it or a I guess it's a little bit kinked. That's why they use that coude as was for the most part.
Yeah, because
So
I know for me, I don't know if that was the case for me, but I know that was a thing that they were kind of showing everybody back in the day. And I always, because when I used to, I'd walk into a bathroom and that's at the urinal, and sometimes I'd be doing that. Guys like looking around you because they don't know what I'm doing there. I'm at the urinal and just gardane. And so, but it did help. It helped me kick off and relax my bladder and whatever it was. So. Um,
did
that was a method, the technique that they used to use. I don't know if anybody uses it anymore.
I think some people have to use it just the way their urethra is.
Yeah.
Um, but you don't have any pain when you cath, so that shouldn't be the
No.
problem.
Yeah. No. If it's when you do your cathing yourself, it's a whole different thing than having someone else cath you. So you kind of know the thing. But yeah, like I said, it was kind of a hassle at first. Mentally just doing the cathing. But once you get used to it, it was one of the better things for me to do all the time because I was always worried about when I did get that urge to have to urinate and all that stuff. I've had to find a bathroom. I have a few minutes to get there, and I'd kick off, but then the rest of the time I had to kind of strain and crede. So cathing was a much easier thing, and then I wish I probably would have got into it earlier in my life. Would have made things a lot simpler.
Or maybe talk to your
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. So we'll
find out
find out. And once I see the urologist, man, I can stop whining and moaning and bitching about it.
yeah. Well, and I know we were talking yesterday, and my wine sesh, and thinking about aging with a disability, what I'm finding is it for me and it's been like this since I got sick, and now, granted, probably if I didn't get sick with the fluid in the heart and the lungs, which they think was from COVID, but right now I'm just so tired, and I know this is an aging piece anyway because I never went to go see a doctor except maybe every other year when I had to go see my spinal cord doctor. And
Yeah,
now it just seems like I have so many doctors now. And you have your urologist, and then you have your spinal cord doctor, and then you right now I got now a cardiac doctor, a lung doctor,
yeah,
a kidney
yeah,
doctor, yeah, and it just and an infectious disease doctor, and they all want to see me, and I'll see you back in 3 months, and it's just
yeah.
one doctor after another, and I'm just like, man, it is. kind of makes you feel old, and you're standing in the waiting room and you're around a lot of old people, and
Yeah,
you're like,
well, like you just said, I never used to go to the doctor. I mean, even, spinal cord
yeah,
injury or not, I never used to go to the doctor. So now my regimen is every 3 months, I have my primary care doctor and I have a kidney doctor that I see. And so now it's going to be a urologist added to the mix, and, they want, I need to get back into therapy and all that. So my thing is, yeah, I think it is the aging piece, but, um, I don't know. I still got to bitch about it. It just makes me, I just got to get it off my chest. Like I said, I'll find, if somebody will listen, I'll do it. But for the most part, if you taped me in my house, you think someone was here with me because I was just talking to myself and bitching and moaning.
that's and I have those days where I tell my wife and we have somebody that comes in that is a caretaker for our daughter. When our daughter comes home for Wednesdays and Fridays, and I just tell everyone in the household, give me space, leave me
Yeah,
alone. One
yeah,
of those days, and I don't, usually it's the dropping that sets it off, or it's or I have to go do something that I don't want to because, and it's a lot of times now at doctor's appointments that
yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
tired of going over there. And, going over to most doctor's offices these days, there's no handicap because everybody there is handicapped anyway because, they're, older and they get the blue card no matter what.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
of course, my wife reminded me yesterday when I finally found one, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I got your new handicap," and I'm like, "Placard," and I said, "Oh great, I'm handicapped for another 2 more years." But
Yeah, yeah.
you know, it's like it's a crapshoot when I find a handicap spot, and
Well,
I always
and
try to
that's
get
the thing,
the first
because
appointment
yeah, and for
because
me,
I
I
don't want to wait.
I get to places earlier just because of the parking. It's not so much to get there to make sure it's because I got to find parking. And so, like for me locally, with me having my issues with getting in and out of my truck and stuff like that, there's a transportation service that I'm using now that drops me, door to door and all that. So that's helping out a little bit. But um, I'm bitching and complaining because it's hard to make the appointment for pickup. Now I see when I was at Rancho, excuse me, when I was at Rancho, all the people that road access we're waiting because it's hard to know when you're going to be done with an appointment.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. And the one thing I always told myself that I was never going to bitch about handicap, parking because, back in the day when, I, used to think about going to a support group, and you're like, and then all these, you know, people are bitching about handicap parking. You're like, oh my god, get over it. So what? Man, you ain't find a handicap parking, park at the back. And now it's just like, damn, I didn't find my part, and now I'm bitching about it. I'm like, what
Yeah.
the? Now I'm one of those. No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be on this channel and complain about handicap parking. And
Here we
what?
are.
Really? That guy's parking in that spot? He's not handicapped. Come on. So,
Well,
just,
that's it. And I just go into these things because I usually sometimes when I can't find the parking, I'll park a little bit further away, and if I do have to take up a couple spaces, it's further away. It's not one of the primary locations, but it's like what one of the guys in one of our support groups said. He goes, all you need to do is instead of putting the handicap parking up front, they need to put it in the back, and then no one would want to park in them. So,
yeah. And I think some of it has to do with the wintertime months. I'm for sure on that. When it's summer, I love a good day to stroll through whatever
yeah,
a parking lot or park for and I don't mind. I take up 2 spots all the way in the back, no problem at all. But and lately we've as we said, I think it's been raining here in LA. It's starting at Christmas, and
yeah,
you don't know if you're gonna get outside your car and next thing you know you got a downpour happening on you when that
yeah.
wasn't there a second ago. So yeah, it just and it's just funny how I just said it the other day and about parking, and I'm like, oh, and I even told my wife this is why I take the first appointment every day. I want to be the first in, and I don't want it because doctors get behind on these appointments.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you
Jeez.
waiting and waiting and waiting, and you're like, God, my appointment was at 2:30. Come on. So now I try to make it like, what's the first appointment of that doctor's day? That's
Yeah.
how I do it.
Yeah, and that's like mine. That's what I do because I usually get my appointments like 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30 or whatever. But lots of times, so at least I get in there when he gets there because sometimes they're doing right next door is a hospital, so he makes his rounds there for any patients that are there, and he gets in. He's okay, but then he starts wanting to talk more, and I'm on the clock because I have a pickup at 11, and it's like 10 till, and he's in a full conversation. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's just I just like I said, there's things like I look back though and think about stuff that I whine and complain about people saying whining and complaining, and here I am whining and complaining now because people say I go, God, quit your whining, and now I'm one of those guys that whine.
Yeah.
At least here
I,
I am.
and I even switched urologists
Mm.
just because I did make the first appointment, and I saw him come in, and it still took him 40 minutes to get to me.
Oh,
You know,
that's
and I was like,
that's
"Oh, I'm done. I'm done. I'm sorry." I mean, granted, he could have been on the phone call about patients and things like that. But if I have a 9 o'clock appointment, I don't mind 9:20, but I think it was like 9:40 or 9:45. It was almost an hour. I
yeah,
know
yeah.
it
See,
was
that's
almost an
crazy.
hour. I was just like, I came home that day and I was just like, I'm never going to that doctor again.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of getting used to different things. I just kind of exercise my patience. But yeah, that is making you wait, and then when they do call you, you go, okay, oh, great, we're moving. Then you get in the room and you wait for them a half hour. They're waiting for them to come in. So they just get you out of the waiting room. That's really all they do, but and make you and give you hope that he's there already. And half the time I'm in that room and I hear him walking in, a half hour later. So yeah, there's plenty of things we can all bitch and moan about and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And we've been in the chair. You've been in the chair 34. I'm at you know 49. We together we have what 84, 85 years. There's a lot of stuff that we've gone through, and there's things that you just have to do. But just to anybody viewing and all that stuff, we all go through the same thing. I'm sure every one of you guys have a story that what we're talking about, and we don't mean it to be a down or anything like that. It's just that something that we were just trying to do today to make sure that we all go through the same thing.
And I think most of the important message is it's okay to whine once in a while. But
Yeah,
here's what we can really talk about. Hey, baby. I think what we can really talk about is, you know, give yourself that bad day, give yourself that one day,
yeah, yeah.
but give yourself, as my dog started going wild,
Yeah,
and that cheers me up. What gets you out of that? I mean,
yeah,
for me, sometimes I'm like, dropping everything and I need to get out of this mood and I don't want to be in this mood and whine and bitch all day about it. So what is going to get me out of this? Sometimes I might plan a nice dinner and go out and take my wife out or get something good that I want. So that's something I do. It's or play, some music that's really going to pump me up and like, all right, okay, here we go. Okay, that's going to get me out. Or exercise, get out and go exercise or go see something if you can, if it is once a beautiful day. But luckily I go to an exercise program that's on Zoom and I love it. So I do definitely take those that time to try to get out of it and not let it last all day. Do you have any of those?
yeah. So for me, like I said, it's not all the time. I have those days where I get in. Like I said, when I wake up, I kind of know it's already gonna be one of those days. So I allow myself a time for that, and it's not a negative thing. It's just me allowing myself to vent to myself, and I'm good with that. I've been doing that for years, and uh, it's important that you realize that when it is just one of those things. And the best thing you can do to get over that is to think of the things that you do well and that you want to do. And because there's always a trade-off. Yeah, there's some things that we got to deal with, but there's other things that make you happy. Like for me, just like the sunshine, I feel better, and it's psychological, obviously, but I feel better. My body feels better because we say the cold, all this that. But and me getting out, like I said, I'm good with that. So I've done that for years. I've allowed myself to, uh, feel down a little bit, but I'm that positive person that pulls myself out of it. I change my attitude because you have to, because you
Yeah.
don't want to be, because I mean it's you're not happy when you're feeling feeling shitty. So
No.
it's just hard. Like I said, it's just a mental thing, and for me, I get over it. Okay, done with, and then I go on with my day, and everything's good. I may have another one a few days later or a month later. It just depends. But the weather for me just brings it out a little bit more, just because of the gloom. That's for
Well,
me.
we're gonna have good weather here. I know it. We got to have it.
Yeah.
One thing that Kelly said, and I kind of get you. He says, "I hate how hard it is to get and give a decent hug from a chair. It comes
Yeah.
awkward, especially when you're hugging somebody. You're like off
That's a
to the
good one.
side,
Yeah.
this side, and you know,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, you can't get
I
it. You
hear you.
can't get a good hug because like the person's got to twist a little bit, and
Yeah,
that's a good
and
one. That's a
I
good
know
one.
for a fact that's how I got my first kiss from my wife. Is she just wanted to give me a hug, and she's like, "How do I?" And I'm like, "Well, here, just sit on my lap." And I gave her a hug, and then we looked at each other in the face. And next thing you know, somebody, we always say it, one of us kissed each other, and we don't know who initiated, but that's how it was. So
But yeah,
I mean, but
that
yeah,
is a good
but
one.
when you're
That's a
hugging
good one.
friends or family, it's always like I always just have to do it off to the side. But I just thought that was pretty funny. That was a good one, Kelly. Before we wrap up, we want to say a little bit of little thank you to our sponsors. We got a sponsor of the month before it gets over with. Uh, what month are we in? March.
Yeah.
You want to give a little shout out to our sponsors, Robert?
Sure. The first one is Feeldom, sponsor for the month here. They have quality bags and backpacks for wheelchair. Take a look at them on the internet. They're really good quality. And I saw the ones that you guys had, really nice bags, and it looks like they're real, like a lot of utility to them, with style and good quality. And then we also have our sponsors, Mobility Professionals and Urology Professionals. Mobility Professionals provides your wheelchair needs and mobility needs. They're based here in Southern California. Go ahead. Were you say something?
No, I just thought Kelly probably was a smooth operator. I just laughed about that.
Yeah. So anyway, mobility professionals for Southern California. If you're in the area that they cover, check them out. They're part of the disability community, supporters of the community, and their sister company, Urology Professionals, is a national company that will take care of all your urological needs, catheters, and things like that. Check them out. A great group of people. They support our community at the expos. They attend a lot of the events that we have through the Triumph Foundation as well. So good people, good place to satisfy all your needs in terms of your mobility and cathing.
Absolutely. Well, I think we got it out of our system, and
Yeah, I'm
I
good.
think we had enough whining here on our Thursday, and it was great to get it out. And obviously, we always want to make our shows upbeat, but sometimes we have to be real. We all have shitty days, and we all have days where we want to bitch and moan and whine about it. And because life is hard, no matter having a hard time paying those bills. Your wheelchair isn't charged, or you got a flat tire. I don't care what it is. I mean, yes, here at Live to Roll, we want to get out that positive message, but sometimes you just have a hard time, and I'll be honest. I mean, there's been days when on the Tuesday or even this Thursday, on some of our Thursdays here with you, Robert, you know, it's a half an hour before we're about to start, and I'm just like, man, I'm just, I got to get up, and
Yeah, yeah,
I've just been having one of those days, and we have them, and I think that's, when we talked about it, we didn't want to, nobody wants to hear anybody whine and cry, but yeah, Kelly, you said it, SEI is a tough freaking life, and I'm not a big swear person, but yeah, it is a effing freaking tough life, and it's we we deserve a little bit of whining. And I thought, and I think you were loving it, and I think we just said let's just whine, you
Yeah,
know, and get it off our chest,
yeah.
you know. And
And
I
I
hope you
can say,
guys.
I agree with you. It's just like you say, we didn't want to make it like where it is like such a serious piece, but we're just, just to kind of vent. And, and it's something that we all, I know our topic today cross everyone's life there. It's something. But what it is like, just like the hugging. I mean, that is a big piece. That's always an awkward piece in
Yeah,
there, and so you gotta bitch about it because even that is kind of sometimes gets in the way, that frustration, like, oh, I just
yeah,
want a good old hug or whatever. But yeah, hopefully you guys got a little enjoyment out of it. Main thing is to be positive. It's okay to have those down days, but don't stay in that rut, man. Get out of it as quick as you can and
yeah.
get on with positive life.
And recognize what can get you out of them. If
Yep.
it's a song or if it's treating yourself to some, get yourself out of it. And
Yep.
I think it'll make a big difference. So with that, let us wrap up before we start whining, and you guys tell
Yeah.
us,
Yep.
hey, come on, enough. And I think next time, Dominic, will come with a little bit more uplifting topic and not so much whining about it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us today. We'll see you next time. And lift, roll, and be positive.
all right, take care, everyone. See you
See
in
you
a couple
guys
weeks.
later.